Hey everybody, welcome in. I'm Christian Hinton, Associate Editor of Tire Review, and I'm here with one of 2024's newest Club 3633 class member, Kevin Speroff. He's the Strategic Account Manager at TireHub. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me. I've got some questions for you if you're ready.
Absolutely. Hey, it's
All
a
right.
pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. First things first, describe your current role and detail a little bit about how you feel you're making a difference with TireHub.
Sure. So, as a strategic account manager, I effectively act as a liaison between my customers and my company. And one of my primary goals is to address any concerns they may have, any needs, whether that relates to product or pricing. Also, if just fostering stronger relationships with these organizations. I work to reduce friction. And so, working cross-functionally within my organization, I act as a nexus and ensure that the proper information is relayed to the right teams. In this regard, we're able to ensure that the customer gets strong support and strong communication from our organization. I work with them on different sales and strategic initiatives, both of which provide positive business outcomes and can add to growth, as well as volume increases for both my customer and my company. And when stuff like that is successful, it's really gratifying to see the positive impact you're able to make, both with the customer and with your own company. Aside from that, I think analytics and sales are traditionally separated to a degree in this industry. I come from a relatively heavy analytics background, and so I think something I've been able to bring to the table is adding a little bit of an edge of analytics with my sales work. Yeah. And again, I'm hopeful that makes me a beneficial asset to both my clients and my company.
Absolutely. Kevin, where did you go to school? What did you go for?
So I attended The Ohio State University.
Okay, nice.
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I had studied business operations with a focus on supply chain and procurement.
Kevin, I'm interested to know, you've not been in the industry long. It's an ever-evolving industry, and what I mean by that is, like, on my side, there's never-ending news, there's never-ending updates, there's technologies that are new seemingly every single day. Just with your professional development, I'd love to know how you keep up with it. Like, does TireHub provide you some stuff to keep up with your professional development? Do you do things on your own to better your education on the industry?
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in continuous education. The mindset of the eternal student, there's always something to learn. And I try and chase that down in personal and professional growth through a variety of avenues. So, fortunately, I have had an exceptional group of mentors and colleagues who I've been able to absorb their insights and experience from day in and day out. There's hardly a day on the job where I'm not learning something. And so, just going through the everyday process with TireHub, I'm learning something every day. And they absolutely do provide assets for you to be able to use. I think investment in your own education and growth is of paramount importance, and it's really one of the primary drivers for somebody to be competitive and relevant in any profession.
I'm interested to know, you talked a little bit about the industry already, but what are some trends that you're seeing right now coming up on the horizon that maybe actually challenges? And I'm interested to know your ideas on how to turn those challenges into opportunities.
Sure. So as you mentioned, the tire industry is extremely dynamic. It's ever-changing, and that comes with a litany of challenges as well as opportunities. But in my perspective, the way to capitalize on that is adaptability. So as an organization, you have to be agile. And when we see things like shifts in consumer behavior, we see the birth of new segments such as EVs. We're seeing large emphasis on sustainability, whether in manufacturing process, distribution, what have you. And we also see the evolution of manufacturing as well as material science within the industry. All of that, it shakes the industry up. It creates uncertainty, and people can see that as a challenge, but again, I believe those challenges really are opportunities if you can adapt to them. So, we have these endless troves of data insights. Every organization in the tire industry, we have all of this data. And if you're able to peer into the patterns of the industry and see, the trajectory, where we might be going, you're able to anticipate the change.
What are you most fearful about when it comes to the future of the industry?
Sure. So I understand why people would be fearful. I personally, am optimistic about it. I think the past 3 years, the trials and tribulations the industry has faced, it's shown how resilient we are as an industry. And to that regard, our product remains essential worldwide. So I think we've really shown that we can weather the storm. And we might not be in the clear just yet, but I'll take my leanings, or I'll lean on some learnings that I've had as a Cleveland Browns fan is, the future's uncertain. You always got to, try and progress day after day, and there's something really to be said about well-placed but cautious optimism.
Absolutely. I love the Browns shout out there. Go Browns. Talk a little bit, Kevin, about your long-term career goals. Like, where do you see yourself in 10, 20 years?
Sure. So I kind of tripped and fell into the tire industry. Yeah. It was extremely unexpected, and it's taken me down this rabbit hole the past few years that I wouldn't have ever guessed. I do see myself in this industry, hopefully having had another degree and with a lot more experience. I just want to continue growing and becoming a good asset for my company so that I can be as effective as possible, create positive business externalities for my clients, for my shareholders, whatever it may be.
Let's talk a little bit about non-industry, non-TireHub stuff.
Sure.
Tell me maybe 1 or 2 fun facts about yourself that some people might not know.
I love to travel.
Okay.
I try to do at least 2 trips a year, and I generally kind of find places that might be a little more off the beaten path. So, for example, in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I'll be heading down to Peru.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
For personal or work?
This is personal.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So that's part of the personal growth. I think exposure to other cultures and other languages is really important. It kind of gives you a different lens and mindset to look at the world and appreciate what you have a little bit more. I was fortunate enough to live abroad in Europe when I was in high school, which forever changed kind of how I view that. And so, I try and do a lot of travel.
Do you have any hobbies, favorite sports teams, or anything else? Talk about your hobbies a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love playing hockey.
Okay.
Growing up in Cleveland, it was pretty popular up here, and I try and find men's leagues and go play on the weekends to keep up some exercise. It's good for community building and friendship. So I do a lot of hockey. That being said, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Nashville Predators are probably my go-to hockey teams.
Okay.
They hurt me every year, but it's still worthwhile. And of course, I love the Browns and I love the Cavs.
Kevin, tell me a little bit about your family. Like you said, you came from Cleveland. Talk a little bit about how you grew up, your family a little bit. And
sure.
Stuff like that. So
I am the middle child of 5 kids. Grew up in Cleveland most of my life, and it's been a great place to grow up. Very, very loving family. I wouldn't be here today without them giving me the support and confidence to jump into the industry and go ahead and chase my educational aspirations and career aspirations. So,
it's great. And I wanted to actually follow up on a question that we talked about a little bit before. Your time in Europe in high school. How did that come about, and where did you go and stuff? I'm very interested in that.
So my great-grandfather, who unfortunately I was never able to meet, he immigrated here in 1912.
Okay.
And as you do, or as you did in that time, you wanted to assimilate as quickly as possible, and therefore you leave behind your heritage. You want to be an American. You don't want to be seen as an immigrant.
Yeah.
And so growing up, I learned that I was Macedonian by heritage, And I had no idea what that was. It's actually a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, is Macedonia.
Right, I was going to say, not Macedonia, Ohio. Yeah.
And that's all that I knew. So I got really passionate about it. I wanted to know, where am I from? What is this? And I picked up a college textbook. I started teaching myself Macedonian. And by sheer happenstance, I met an individual who had relations with an international school in Macedonia.
Okay.
So I picked up and I moved over there in high school.
Wow.
And it, it's most kids who study abroad want to go to Spain or France. They're not really going to Eastern Europe, but it was an extremely transformative experience in my life. And I went there to reinfuse my heritage and culture into my own life for my kids and family in the future. And I was able to actually make connections with our relatives.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
It had been 100 years. We had no contact, and I was able to find them 3 months into the trip. So,
oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is so amazing. I love that. I love that so much. Is there anything that you want me to know about yourself that I haven't asked you about today at all?
I would just like to say, I think while the tire industry may not be, as glamorous as tech or something along those lines, it really is amazing, and we need to be driving people to this industry. We need to be promoting the educational, aspects of it. I really think we should be pushing analytics, as there's so many opportunities for us to apply it. And I'm a big promoter for all of those things. So I plan to be in industry. I plan to be promoting those things and hopefully growing with my peers and watching everybody really flourish as time goes on.
Why is it so important to you? Because you talk about it and you seem really passionate about it, right? It's like you're younger, you want to be in the industry, you want to be involved in the industry. Why is that growth so important to you when, frankly, you've only been in it for 3 years? So someone on the outside might look and they go, well, what does this guy know? You know what I'm saying? So why is it so important to you?
Because it's so complex and it's so dynamic. I mean, it's right below everybody's nose, and nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
I get a great kick every time somebody asks what I do, and I say, I sell tires. And you can just see the confusion come over their face as they're trying to figure out what I mean by that.
Yeah.
I mean, the automotive manufacturing sector is the largest manufacturing sector in the United States. It's the backbone of a large piece of the economy.
Right.
And to know that you're working in an industry that has that large and that far-reaching of an impact that seemingly nobody knows about, and it's like playing chess with all of the players always moving. To me, it's just extremely fascinating. I enjoy every day. I never have a boring day, and there's always something to learn. And so that's why I think, a lot more people should consider the industry.
All right. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the club. And everyone, thank you so much for watching.